Last time on Fate's Day Saturday night.
Who the fuck are you?
And now the thrilling continuation.
Wait, I actually might know exactly who this guy is. Could it be... I know those eyes following me, dark and familiar and deep as the sea. I know that face, strange though it seems. I was younger and kinder, it haunts all my dreams. He's the fucking foreigner from the prologue. And frankly, this puts one Sakura Mato under a whole lot of scrutiny. I have no idea what the nature of those two's relationship is, but there is still plenty of time to find out. Meanwhile, I have to worry about what's going to happen right now, though.
There's something unexpected there. The man with his back to the moon is golden. The man clad in gold is looking down at the yard with a cruel smile. She must have instinctively realized that he has destroyed her troops as Castor raises her voice. The man doesn't answer. No, he hasn't even taken notice of Castor. He's only looking at one person. The Silver Knight beside me. You're about to die, Castor. Castor's voice sounds emotional. And with that, the man finally looks at Castor. Castor gasps and stared at by those red eyes. Man's stare is so cold. That thing isn't threatening Castor as human. Even I can tell from here. It's only natural for Castor, the target of that stare, to be terrified by that pressure. She asks in a trembling voice. She must know she'll be swallowed if she doesn't do so. But... the man answers with a verdict of death. A snap. When I realize the sound of his fingers snapping, the tragedy has already begun. Many weapons suddenly appear in space and shoot at Castor like a machine gun. Castor raises her arm. Concept of a shield. A film-like glass is created around Castor. It probably has strength equaling Berserker's body. But was it useless because it was made of glass? Built like a crystal, it cannot even block one of the showering weapons and shatters into pieces. A dumbfounded voice. Without showing any concern for Castor's question, they pierce the black robe. There's no mercy at all. The robe is pierced by lances as the robe is blown away. More lance pierces. I don't know. The lack of space really confused me. The sword into her falling body, an arrow into the arm falling to the ground, an axe into her pained head. Each becomes a deadly guillotine. Survival is impossible. Castor is completely cut apart and dismantled. She now looks like a mountain of red meat. Jesus Christ. Wind blows. The black robe who lost its master floats away. Floating away. The shredded robe still barely keeps its form. Now it's all that remains of what used to be Castor. I can't say anything. My strained mind just watches the black robe floating miserably in the wind. that instant,
無礼者、俺が失せろと言ったのだ。解く自害するが礼であろう。
the golden man roars in a voice full of contempt. It's not an illusion. Black Robe twists like a wave, grows black wings, and tries to fly away. But it's too late. I don't know what the man did. It's just a crack ran through the night sky. The dislocation in the sky swallows the Black Robe. Reminds me of someone getting run over by a steamroller. Black Robe falls. Underneath it is Castor, unscathed. Hey! What an amazing magic trick. That's incredible. There. Okay, not this time. The storm of swords shower onto her. The scream echoes through the night. The swords multiply in response to the scream, and the scream gets louder in turn. Castor must have regenerative powers like Saber. Oh, she cannot die even when the swords are stabbed into her, so her figure is just too miserable. The rain doesn't stop. The weapons each differ in shape, and none of them are the same. And I don't want to admit it, but each of those weapons equals the noble phantasms of the servants. The merciless reign of noble phantasms. Castor struggling under it is just... And that ends it. With a black mist hiding Castor, the servant disappears. The infinite cycle of torture that I thought would last forever lasted only 10 seconds in reality. Through it all, Saber stares at the Gold Knight standing on top of the wall.
魔術師風情が騎士王を捕らえるなどと口にするのも大罪よ。あれは王である俺のものだ。王の宝に手を出す輩にはかような串刺しが似合っていよう。さて、久しいなセーバー。覚えているか？俺が下した決定を。
The man says in an intimate manner. Saber doesn't answer, but her glare is different from before.
なんだその顔は。未だ覚悟ができていないというのか。あれから10年だぞ。すでに心を決めてもよい頃だが。ああ、もっともそれは俺だけの話なのか。まったく男を待たせるとはたわけた女だ。
Man, fuck this guy. The man laughs happily. My chest is hurting. Partly from seeing that tragedy, but more than that, I feel sick when that man looks down on Saber with such ridiculous expression.
まだ雑種が残っていたか。
Commenting unhappily, the man turns to the mansion. Oh. There on the porch in front of the living room are Ilya and Tosaka.
何？ あれ
Ilya is looking up at the man as if she's seen a ghost. Straining her eyes, she shakes her head, saying it's impossible.
嘘あなた誰なの
たわけ見てわからぬかこの身はお前がよく知る英霊の一人であろう
嘘
Ilya jumps off the porch and glares at the. Ilya, please back up!
知らない私あなたなんて知らない私が知らないサーバントなんて存在しちゃいけないんだから
待てイリア
My call restrainer comes too late. The cluster of magical energy Ilya releases shoots straight for the man. A clanging sound. The man didn't do anything. A mirror-like shield appeared in front of him and reflected Ilya's magical energy shot. As she fired the magical energy in anger, there's no way she can react to it. Ilya stands dumbfounded before the magical energy she fired. Damn, Rain. Holy shit. She's barely saved by Tosaka, who instantly blocked it.
なるほど今回はまた変わり種だな前回の鉄を踏まぬよう少しは工夫したということか
The man looks at Ilya, a cold stare like the one directed at Saber, a stare rising a possession.
やだやだやだやだやだ私はあなたなんて嫌い
It's like a whole different story now. What the fuck? Ilya still glares at the man pinned by Tosaka.
貴様の事情なぞ知らんいいから早く開けそらせっかくの5人目なのだからな
Man speaks plainly. What kind of effect does it have? Ilya shakes violently and faints. That's it. That's all that'll happen. All Tosaka and I can do is look up at that man. We both understand. He isn't looking at us. He would just... we would just share Castor's fate if we raised our voices. But Saber is different. She is staring at the Gold Knight in a different kind of silence.
なぜあなたが見解しているのですアーチャー
Okay, I thought that might be it. Saber tries to control her voice. Tosaka and I can only be shocked by her words.
なぜも何もなかろう聖杯は俺のものだ自らの持ち物を取りに来て何が悪い
ふざけたことあなたはそのような英雄ではないいやそもそも
やめておけその先を口にしては戦わざるを得なくなるぞ騎士王よいやもとよりそのつもりであったが今日がそがれた再会を祝すにしてはここはみすぼらしすぎるからな
Saying so, the man turns away. He turns his back as if saying he has no interest in us.
いずれ会うぞセイバーあの時から俺の決定は変わらぬ次に出向くまでに心を決めておくがいい
The man disappears. With that, the tension in the air vanishes and the yard returns to its usual silence. But that's the only thing that returned. My home is ruined. Ilya is unconscious. Saber, keeping her back to us, still bears that heavy silence.
Before we can truly address the gold elephant in the room, let's check out the stats.
Chaotic good, you say? Really? Fucking. EXA. Fuck, this guy's broken as shit. Tough break. Tough break, caster.
Alright, well, with things calmed down now, Amiya, Reen, and Saber have a conference on what just happened. The first order of business is attending to Amiya's wounds, which, of course, have already healed. And this is frankly annoying Reen at this point. She says, at first I wasn't saying anything because it's really useful, but the fact that you just had your spinal cord cut in half by that dagger, and now you're just walking about like nothing happened, it's really weird, and I want answers to it. Amiya says he has no idea why. Reen theorizes that it must be magic coming from Saber, healing Amiya. Saber's like, I thought this was just something Amiya could do. Apparently she had no idea that this was abnormal for him. Saber also insists that if it was magic coming from her, she would feel that flow. Plus, his magical healing is way better than hers, so it's definitely not coming from her. So to summarize, nobody has any fucking idea why this is happening. With no further ground to make on this, the gang has no choice but to move on to the next topic, which is, of course, how does Saber know this golden boy?
Saber doesn't answer. It's obvious something it's obviously something she doesn't want to talk about. But I still want to know. Tosaka's question is mine as well.
セイバー、知っているなら教えてくれ。さっきのあいつは何だったんだ。セイバーはあいつのことをアーチャーと言っていただろう。
はい。認めたくはありませんが、私は彼を知っています。ですがそれはありえない。サーバントは7人だけ
He
です。
never left, dog!
彼が召喚されるはずがない。
サーバント。やっぱりあいつサーバントなのか。
No, that's obvious. But in that case, there's a big problem.
彼のクラスはアーチャーです。もちろん、リンが契約したアーチャーとは全く別の英霊で、その能力も英雄としての気質もあまりに違いますが。
I know that too. Only lasted a short while, but I was able to feel how much of a monster he was.
ちょっと待って、おかしいわよそれ。あいつがアーチャーのサーバントなら、それで8人目よ。一つの期間で召喚できるサーバントは7人が限度のはずでしょ。数が減ったから補充するなんてことは絶対にない。そもそも7人以上の召喚は聖杯だって魔力が持たないわ。サーバントが7人っていうのは、それが一度に呼び出せる限度数だからでしょ。なら8人目はどうしたって呼び出すって待った。セイバー、あなた前回の戦いであいつと出会ったの？その通りです、リン。前回の聖杯戦争における最後の一日、火の海の中で私は彼と戦った。
My body tensed up for an instant. Saber fought him in a sea of fire. Yeah. It's nothing new. Kuramiya already told me that the fire was caused by the Holy Grail War. So this shouldn't be a surprise. It's just I was unconsciously trying not to think about it until now.
決着は？あなた、あいつをきちんと倒したの？
Really, Reen?
倒してはいません。いいえ、倒すことはできなかった。なぜなら私は逆にあいつに任された。今回とは違う。きちんと召喚されて敵なしだったあなたが勝てなかった相手ね。
Saber hangs her head and doesn't answer. That pretty much answers her question.
セイバーが勝てなかった？
Not just the imperfect Saber as she is now, but Saber with her full power. Is that even possible? If you look at her skill as a swordsman, Saber certainly is invincible. Admittedly, Saber was the weaker against Berserker, but Saber has that noble phantasm. The noble phantasm of servants are powerful, but Saber exceeds even them. I don't think there's any hero she can't beat using her holy sword.
それじゃあ決まりよ。あいつ、今回の戦いで呼ばれたサーバントじゃなくて、前回からそのまま残ったサーバントなん
There
じゃ
we
ない？
go.
そうでなければ辻褄が合わないもの。
My mind stops. It's not that I agree with Tosaka, because I'm just an idiot. But what she said matches what I've been hoping for since yesterday.
ですが、それは。
Oh.
ですがも何もないわ。それ以外に説明がつかないんだから。一度の聖杯戦争で呼び出せるのは7人だけ。それ以外のサーバントがいるとしたら、それは前回生き残った勝者だけじゃなくて？
Makes sense. Heavy silence. But why is she in such a good mood?
父さん、何が嬉しいんだよ、お前。
Good point.
当然じゃない。だって前例がいてくれたのよ。あいつが何者か知らないけど、要するに前回の戦いで最後まで勝ち残ったサーバントなんでしょ？ならあいつは聖杯を手に入れたのよ。で、その恩恵でずっと世界に残って
I
る。
mean,
つまり聖杯さえ手に入れればサーバントを世界に留めておけるっていう見本じゃない。
oh, you.
あいつをとっ捕まえて詳しい話を聞きたいぐら
Yeah,
いよ。
good luck with that, Rain. Yeah, you're right. I don't know who he is, but he's a servant, and he's still here after the previous war. That means there's a way for Saber to stay in this world like him.
とまあ、あいつが何者で何が目的かは不明だけど、倒すべき敵には変わりなさそうね。セイバー、それであいつの正体は何なの？それがわからないのです。前回の戦いでも私は最後まで彼の正体がつかめなかった。
Great.
あの英雄にはシンボルとなる宝具が存在しなかった。
シンボルとなる宝具が存在しない。そんなバカな話が。
Oh, you're such a fucking expert now?
サーバントなんてサーバントじゃないだろう。何よりあいつはさっき。
そうよ、さっき山ほど使ってたじゃない。あれだけあれば正体を探るなんて造作もないでしょ。宝具の形状から該当する英雄を探せばいいんだから。では聞きますが、リンは先ほどの宝具に一つでも見覚えはありましたか？そんなの当然じゃない。
Damn, Rain. Saga ponders. She thinks about it for a minute, then she tilts her head in confusion.
嘘、そんなはずない。
どうした父さん。何が嘘なんだ。
信じられない。あの血に濡れてたのは多分ダインスレフで、釜っぽいのはハルペイよね。
Oh.
なんか中華っぽいやつもあったし、お不動産のあれもあったような。
Tosaka looks crazy talking to herself. I guess this is what you call digging yourself a hole.
あれなんかセーバーの剣に似てたけど別物のはずよ。ああいう素朴なデザインは北欧っぽかったし、そういえば大抵の魔剣の原型って北欧だって話だけど。
She starts to grit her teeth.
おい父さん。
There's no point in leaving her like that. I have to stop her now, or there'll be some damage. I don't need to add that. I'll be the one damaged.
父さん、父さん、いいから戻ってこい。
ああもう黙っててよしろ。 あんたがチャチャ入れるから頭が混乱してきたじゃない。
いや、チャチャを入れるつもりはない。あいつのホーグのことだろ。形状だけで言うなら、ダインスレフとハルペ、デュランダルにバジュラにカラドボルグ、あとゲイボルクもあったか。
Jesus.
なんか中華っぽかったのはさすがにわからないけど、有名どころはそんなものじゃなかったか。
それ合ってる。
She glares at me in irritation. I'm hurt if she makes a face like that. I'm not knowledgeable, but it just popped in my head.
けどそれってどういうことよ。そんなデタラメな数の宝具を持ってる英雄なんていないわ。いえ、そもそも出典がごちゃ混ぜでもう何が何だか。
Alright, I think I'm gonna step in here. So later on in this conversation, Amiya will say that he is sure that every single one of the noble phantasms that the Golden Archer used was 100% genuine. He is so confident about this because of his experience with recreating Caliburn earlier. Honestly, it kind of sounds like bullshit, but he's speaking with a level of certainty that only comes with a protagonist that is 100% right. So we're gonna run with it. If this guy seriously has access to every noble phantasm imaginable, or close to it, there's really only two possibilities. He's either God, or he is some sort of progenitor myth. He is some sort of first myth. Like a myth that all myths are based around. And therefore he would have access to every heroic spirit's symbol, as he is a representation of the heroic spirits. I don't really know the implications of either of these, and they both make more sense when you consider heroic spirits as like the bringing to life of story characters and not actual people who lived and made a contract with the universe. Maybe I'm off, or maybe this universe has some conflicting ideas. Saber also brings up that during their first time around, this guy actually proposed marriage to her, which she, of course, deflected with her sword, as she says it. Reen, of course, proceeds to tease Saber and Amiya relentlessly about this. And Amiya, of course, is a salty little bitch about it. Reen decides to call it a night and says we can work out a plan once Ilya is awake in the morning. Once Reen is away, Saber takes this opportunity to pull back the curtain a bit and show Amiya that Reen does not know shit about shit.
セイバー、さっきの話なんだが。
Our eyes meet. Her awkward eyes seem to know what I'm going to say.
はい。何でしょうか、シロ。
She tries to block my question with a calm voice, but I have to tell her.
だからさっきの話だ。遠坂も言っていたけど、聖杯を手に入れればサーバントはこっちに残れるんだろ。なら、
いいえ、私は残るつもりはありません。聖杯を手に入れれば元の私に戻るだけです。
それで王の選定をやり直すっていうのか。死にかけた自分を救わずに初めからやり直すのか。
はい。国を守るのは王の責務です。私の力が及ばなかったのですから、せめてふさわしい王を選び直さなきゃ
I
な
think
り
it
ま
almost
せん。
guarantees the destruction of England in its place. Her words make me really angry.
このバカ、いい加減目を覚ませ。王の責務なんて関係ない。セイバーはこうしてここにいるんだから、あとは自分のやりたいことだけやってればいいんだ。セイバーは強いんだろ。ならさっさと戦いを終わらせて聖杯を手に入れてサーバントなんてやめればいい。願い事があるんなら昔に戻ってやり直しなんかするな。自分を変えたいんなら 昔じゃなくて今から取り戻す方法を取れってんだ。
Saber doesn't answer. She gives a small sigh.
シロ、しつこいです。その話はもうやめてほしい。
She firmly rejects my opinion.
それに聖杯があればこの時代に残れるというわけでもありません。アーチャー、あのサーバントは聖杯を手に入れたから残っているわけではない。
セイバー、
You can't just say shit. You better not leave it at that.
ないものは手に入れようがないでしょう。あの日、町が炎に包まれた時、聖杯は破壊されたのです。私を裏切ったマスター、エミやキリツグによって。
What the fuck? What? My vision closes in. I hold my body steady with my hands as it's about to fall.
エミやキリツグだって。
はい、10年前、前回の聖杯戦争における私のマスターは彼でした。私とキリツグは最後まで勝ち残り、聖杯はキリツグの手に渡った。アーチャーとそのマスターはまだ残っていましたから、あとは彼らを倒すだけで聖杯戦争は終了するはずだった。ですがキリツグは聖杯を捨てたのです。その結果、町は火に包まれました。あの男は私に命じて聖杯を破壊させた。聖杯に触れられるのはサーバントだけですから。キリツグは最後の霊樹を使って私の手で強制的に聖杯を破壊さ
That's
せたのです。
fucking brutal.
聖杯が失われてはサーバントはこの世にとどまれない。キリツグも私をとどめようとは思わなかった。私の記憶はそこまでです。あのアーチャーとの決着も私を裏切ったキリツグを問いただすこともできなかった。
Well, it's not like I never thought about it. Father was a magus. He lived in this town all his life. He must have been involved in the Holy Grail War. But still...
なんでそれを言わなかったんだ、セイバー。親父か。
通常サーバントというのは以前の記憶など持ちませんし、同じ英霊がサーバントとして召喚されることもない。私はサーバントとしては異例です。ですからこの件に関しては口に出すべきではないと判断したのです。それにシローにはキリツグがどんなマスターだったのかを語るのは気が進まなかった。
気が進まなかったってどうして？
シロー、あなたが私の過去を夢見たように私もあなたの過去を見てしまった。あなたのことにも驚きましたが、キリツグの変わりようも私には信じられなかった。シローの記憶にいるエミやキリツグは立派な人物です。ですが私の記憶にある彼はそのような人物ではなかった。一言で言ってしまえば彼は典型的な魔術師だった。物が目的にしか興味はなく、阻むものは何であろうと排除する。およそ人間らしい感情など彼には見当たらなかった。私が戦いを通して話しかけられたのは3度だけです。
Man, Fate Zero's gotta be so... There's no way that's how that rolls in the... I have to see everything now.
Okay, just to be clear, Kirotsugu only speaking to Saber 3 times the entire time he was a master. only to make her use the command spells is an amazing way to show how brutal he was. But there's no way the prequel series actually follows through on this promise. Not that I can hold it against this game.
それが何であるかは言うまでもないとは思いますが、残忍というわけではなかったし、けれど彼には情というものが存在しなかった。キリツグが私を道具として扱ったように、彼本人もまた自身を道具としてしか見ていなかった。キリツグはあらゆる感情を殺し、あらゆる敵を殺した。そこまでして信じたものが何であったのかは私にはわからない。ただその目的であった聖杯を前にして彼は私に破壊を命じた。告白すれば、あの時ほどレイジの存在を呪ったことも、私を裏切った相手を呪ったこともありません。
There's some truth in Saber's words. No, they must all be true. Come to think of it, I don't know what Kiritsugu was like before that time 10 years ago. I couldn't guess anything about him before that time, and I saw no need to learn about such things. Doesn't change a thing, even if Kiritsugu was cold-hearted. The man that adopted me was really childlike. So my memory is my only truth. What hurts my heart is if Kiritsugu was really a cold person, his last moments were just too empty.
そうか。じゃあ俺がセイバーを呼び出せたのもキリツグの息子だったからなのか。
わかりません。キリツグは正規の手順で私を呼び寄せました。マスターとしての適性が高かったキリツグは歴史のある魔術師の家系に雇われ聖杯戦争に参加した。マスターとしての準備はその家系が全て揃えたと言います。彼らは私の遺品をコーンウォールから発掘し、キリツグに委ねて聖杯戦争に臨ませた。キリツグはそれを触媒にして私を召喚したのです。ですからキリツグ本人には私を呼び寄せる因子もなければ属性が近いというわけでもありません。シローが私を引き寄せたのは何か別の力が働いたからでしょう。
I get it. Not too surprising, the father used to be a master. What's surprising is that his servant was King Arthur, the one standing in front of me, right now. One more thing. Saber said the Holy Grail was destroyed. Then, isn't this war completely meaningless?
わからないな。聖杯がもうないってセイバーは初めから知っていたんだろう。ならどうしてこんな馬鹿げた戦いをする気になったんだよ。
確かに聖杯の有無は私には分かりません。けれど私が呼ばれた以上聖杯はなければおかしい。忘れたのですかシロ。私は聖杯を手に入れるためにサーバントになった。逆に言えば聖杯がない場所に私は呼ばれないのです。
いやでもじゃあ聖杯ってのは壊れても治ってるものなのか。
いいえ、聖杯はそう簡単に替えが利くものではない。一度壊れた聖杯が治ることなどないでしょう。
なら
ですがあるはずです。サーバントは聖杯の磁力に惹かれて現れる。聖杯がなければサーバントは現れない。それはあの神父も語っていたのではありませんか。
神父、そうか、あいつ。
The supervisor of the Holy Grail War living at the church. That man that manages the Holy Grail must be able to answer all my questions. The end of the previous war. What happened to the destroyed Holy Grail and to the servant archer? And yes, what did Kiritsugu see at the end of the battle to make him destroy the Holy Grail?
So, I think some things are starting to come together here. I think it's pretty clear at this point that Emiya is somehow connected to Excalibur's sheath. It would explain the healing, and this would also partially explain why he was able to summon Saber in the first place. What wasn't clear at first was how he was connected to that sheath, but the explanation would be that it's something that Kiritsugu may have done while taking care of Emiya. This also could potentially explain why Ilya knew Emiya was a master before he even became a master, since she has this inherent connection to the servants, apparently. She may have been able to sense Emiya's connection to the sheath and therefore sense that he would be selected as a master. With the conversation complete, Emiya and Saber head off to bed and assumedly we'll go see Kotomine in the morning. Of course not. Of course, we are not going to try to get an explanation from Kotomine in the morning. We're going to do it right now, middle of the night, by ourselves. I don't even have it in me anymore to be surprised by this. Of course, Emiya would make a stupid decision like this, because wandering off by himself has never, ever come back to bite him in the ass. Ever. It's not like Lancer is still totally out there, unaccounted for. And it's not like we have this new Golden Archer threat who apparently is even stronger than Saber, and yet no one seems to be taking him seriously. Despite Golden Archer clearly being the final boss of this whole thing, it seems like Emiya and Saber and everyone else is taking it for granted that we are still going to win this Holy Grail War. It's insane, really, just how little oomph we are putting behind this new threat. Especially after how big a deal we made out of Hercules for so long, only to kill him off a couple episodes early. The only interesting thing that Emiya says to himself on the way to the church is he reminisces about how when he was first coming here with Reen all those nights ago, was how he told her he's never been to the church before. And this was true. But the only reason he had never been there before is because after him and a bunch of other kids were orphaned by that fire, all the other orphans had to go to the church. But he was lucky and was immediately adopted right from the hospital by Kiritsugu and never had to go to the orphanage. And he's always felt guilty about this. I find this interesting because if you think about orphans as a result of the last Holy Grail War, think about Reen, whose father died as a contestant in it. If you think about people who were raised by the church as a result of that last Holy Grail War, you think about Reen, who ended up getting raised by Konomine. It's interesting how close these two were to walking the same path. We arrive at the church where we are eventually greeted by Kotomine, who's like, "What the fuck are you doing here?" Kotomine takes Emiya to a back room where Emiya decides to just spill all our information to him. He's trying to figure out what to do about the whole Saber situation. Once Kotomine is properly filled in, he decides to pull back the curtain even further back beyond where Saber had taken it and help Emiya out with his situation.
なあ、セーバーをサーバントでなくすのは不可能だ。だがお前が望んでいるのはセーバーを人としてこの世にとどまらせることだろう。ならばそう難しいことではない。聖杯戦争が終わった後、サーバントを人として生かすこともできる。もっとも死んでしまえば死の直前にいる彼女に戻ることになるが。
それはどうやって？
英霊とサーバントは似て非なるものということだ。通常英霊として召喚される者には意志などない。連中はただ目的を果たすためだけの道具として召喚され消え去っていく。だがサーバントは別だ。あれは聖杯によって呼び出された本体だからな。それならば世界に留めておくだけで人として生きていこ
そんなことできるのか。前回セイバーは聖杯が壊れた時点で消えたと言っていた。聖杯がなくなってしまえばサーバントは残っていられないんじゃないのか。
無論だ。サーバントを呼び出すのは聖杯であり、その後に彼らを維持させるのがマスターの役割だ。だがそれも聖杯がマスターの後押しをしているからでね。本来魔術師一人程度の魔力ではサーバントを維持できない。聖杯という強大な魔力提供源がなければサーバントは消えてしまう。
なろうな。なら
いや、足りないのなら補えばいいだけの話だろう。サーバントにとって魔力提供など代償行為に過ぎない。連中の本質は魂食いだ。存在濃度が薄れ始めたのなら他人の魂で補充すればよい。
Does it mean attacking random people like Shinji did?
ふざけるな。そんなことできるものか。大体な、セイバー自身そこまでして残ろうと思ってない。
そうか。ならばあとは聖杯の中身を使うしかあるまい。簡単な話だ。お前が真実セーバーを人として生かしたいのなら聖杯をセーバーに飲ませればいい。
He must have predicted my response. Priest's expression tells me he was waiting to reach his conclusion from the beginning.
それは聖杯で俺の願いを叶えろってことか。
いや、それはお前の願いとは関係がない。聖杯の中身はそういうものだ。リンから聞かなかったか。サーバントは杯に満ちた水を飲むことによって現世で2度目の生を授けられるのだと。もっともそれはこの時代の使い魔として立場を確立したに過ぎぬがな。肉体は依然サーバントのままだが、マスターさえ存命ならばこの世界にとどまれるようになる。
けどそれは
That hasn't solved anything. Even if she can stay in this world, it's meaningless if she's still a servant. She can't exist without magical energy from her master, and even if she stays in this world like that, she returns to that hill after she dies. And Saber wouldn't do it. She isn't interested in a second life. She said she's going to use the Holy Grail for another purpose. But first of all, the key to everything is the Holy Grail. Does it mean it still exists in this world?
話は分かった。結局聖杯を手に入れるしかないってことだろう。けど聖杯はあるのか。親父が壊したんならも
う何かね。
聖杯がないのなら戦う理由がない。こんな馬鹿げた殺し合いは無意味だ。
戦う理由はないか。何を今さら。元より君に理由などない。
As he says so, time freezes. No reason to fight. That's what this priest told me before. At the time, I just became a master and didn't have much reason to fight. That's why I ignored it. I thought it was just sarcasm. But what about now? I have a reason to fight. If there is a Holy Grail, I want to end this fight and give it to Saber. I have a reason to fight. I have a reason to fight. So why do his words make my body shake so much that I want to vomit?
まあよかろう。 今はエミやシローの傷を切開する時ではない。
I hear a voice I don't want to hear, but it makes my mysterious nausea stop.
聖杯はある。もとより聖杯は受け皿に過ぎぬからな。なくなれば用意した者が新しい聖杯を用意する。
用意した者が新しい聖杯を用意するって、聖杯ってそんな簡単に作れるものなのか？
器を作るだけならばな。無論相応の技術が必要となってくるが、もとよりその技術なくして聖杯戦争は成り立たなかった。もともと聖杯とは神の血を受け継いだ杯ではなく、古より伝わる魔法の鎌が原型なのだ。お前も魔術師の端くれならば知っていよう。ユートピア、ギリシャ語でたどり着けない場所という意味を持つそこには、願いを叶える万能の鎌があるとされた。このあらゆる神話の根底にある万能の鎌を再現しようとした魔術師たちがいた。それがアインツベルン、マキリ、トーサカの三家だ。連中は何代かにわたって万能の鎌を再現する儀式を模索し、200年前にそれを完成させた。
Mockery.
それが一度目の聖杯戦争。人工物に過ぎない聖杯に万能の鎌を降霊させ、道を開こうとした儀式だった。
アインツベルン、それってイリアの家の
Is that the only name that stuck out to you?
そうだ。アインツベルンはラインの黄金とやらの伝承に長けていてな。こと聖杯の模造品を作る技術は神業だった。だがそれだけでは聖杯を呼び出すことはできん。ふさわしい土地と強力な呪縛が必要となる。それらを提供したのがトーサカとマキリだ。当時教会と魔術協会は係争の真っ最中だったからな。儀式には教会の目が届かない極東の地が選ばれた。アインツベルンはそれを見越してトーサカを仲間に引き入れたのだろう。トーサカはここ一帯の霊地の持ち主であり、その死は降霊術の対価だった。アインツベルンとしてはトーサカなくして聖杯召喚は不可能だった。だが二つの家だけでは容易に裏切りが起きてしまう。ことは三すくみにすべきだと考えたのか。トーサカはマキリの家系にもこの話を持ち込んだ。マキリも長い年月を持つ名門でな。こと使い魔に関しては優れた技法を持っていた。サーバントを縛る霊樹を作り上げたのもマキリだ。そうして連中は聖杯召喚に一致団結したわけだが、いざ成功してみれば残ったのは潰し合いだ。一度目の聖杯の降霊は連中が戦っている間に終わってしまったらしいな。そうして代を重ね、聖杯戦争というルールを作り、形だけは元の協力関係に戻った。トーサカはこの土地とサーバントを形作るシステムを提供し、マキリはサーバントを縛る霊樹を提供した。そしてアインツベルンは聖杯が宿る器を用意する。それらが彼らの敷いた協力関係というわけだ。
Vessel, 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 vessel. priest continues happily as if something pleases him. But I see they say the Holy Grail War is a ritual, but Ilya's family was the original proposer.
聖杯を用意したのはアインツベルンだからな。前回キリツグに裏切られた彼らは最強の切り札を投入してきた。おそらくアインツベルンの娘が聖杯を持っているのだろう。
Ilya has the Holy Grail. That's weird. I don't think she had anything with her.
Just to be clear, I believe this means that Ilya is in fact the vessel for the Holy Grail, which is why her command seal is so elaborate, and also why she can sense all the servants, and why the appearance of a eighth servant she can't sense is so shocking to her.
さて、これで気は済んだか。お前が何を悩むのかは私には知り得ない。だが解決する手段は聖杯のみだ。それが分かったのなら早々に帰るがいい。戦いはまだ終わっていない。セーバーもつけずに出歩くのは正気の沙汰ではない。
I have said this.
余計なお世話だ。まだランサーのマスターが残っていることぐらい。
Hold on. There's one more thing I need to ask you.
ことみね、聖杯が消えればサーバントも消える。あんたはそう言ったな。
言ったが、何か問題でも。
終わりだ。何者かは知らないが、8人目のサーファントがいた。セイバーの話じゃ、あいつは前回からずっとこの場に残ってるって話だぞ。
Oh, so that's news to you. Must have been no surprise. Kotomine opens his eyes and mutters in disbelief.
どういうことだ、ことみね。あんたなら少しはわかると思ってきたんだぞ。
消えなかったサーバントがいるということだな。そう不思議ではあるまい。前回の戦いはセーバーが聖杯を破壊することで終わったのだ。つまりセーバーの他にもう一人サーバントは残っていた。セイバーは潔く消えたが、そのサーバントが限界することを望んだのなら話はたやすい。
Right, Saber was only there because she wanted the Grail, and the Grail was gone, so she had no reason to still be there. If someone didn't want...
それは魂を食らうことで魔力を補い、この10年間生き続けたのだろう。
そんなバカな。あいつの気配は異常だった。あんなのが10年間もいたら、親父だってあんただって気がつくはずだ。
分かっている。おそらくかくまっている者がいたのだろう。そのサーバントのマスターか、もしくは
なんだよ。
聖杯戦争を知りながらマスターの資格を持ち得なかった魔術師だ。そういった人物には一人心当たりがあるのだが、それもないな。マキリのご老体はとうに隠居している。
Konomi must be satisfied as he gets up from the sofa.
話はここまでだ。今の話を聞いては監督役として放ってはおけん。そのサーバントに関しては私が調べよう。お前は残るランサーとの戦いに専念するがいい。
Konomi walks to the exit as if there's nothing more to talk about. Well, there's certainly nothing more to be gained from being here. I leave the dark room and follow Kotomine, who leads me to the exit silently.
On his way home, Amiya can do nothing else but really just brood about how unfair this situation is. The fact is, Amiya loves Saber, and there's no solution to her problem that he's comfortable with. And it's enough to make him cry. For real.
くそ。
I look up at the night sky, looking up at the stars I can never reach. Drip. An unnoticed tear falls down my cheek.
俺あいつが好きだ。
I say to no one. However dull I am, I have to admit it. There's nothing I can do about it. I like her so much that I can cry for no reason.
Somehow, the night is still not over, as there is one more person who would like the opportunity to talk one-on-one with Mia.
おかえり。ずいぶんと遅かったわね。
And then, Tosaka is standing in the doorway.
父さん、お前なんで？
玄関で立ち話もなんでしょ。疲れてるみたいだし、こっち来なさいよ。
She takes my arm without asking me and starts to walk. Takes me to her room.
はいお茶。外寒かったでしょ。
She says so rather bluntly, but she's thoughtful.
ああ、サンキュー。
Thank you. Honestly, I appreciate the hot tea. It's about an hour to the neighboring town. Since I walk slowly, my body is freezing cold.
で、綺麗なとこに行ってたの？
She asked me directly. I see, Sachizaka knew all along. But she didn't even stop me, just waited for me to come home and prepare me some tea. I made up my mind. I appreciate Tosaka's thoughtfulness. It must be why.
行ってきた。聞きたいことがあったから。
I reply honestly, not hiding anything.
そっか。じゃあ何をしてきたかは聞かない。シローもそれでいいでしょ。
そうだな。それにあんまり身のある話じゃなかった。ただ今の状況を確認しただけだったし。
そう。でも驚いたな。セイバーがまだサーバントになりきってないだなんて。最強のサーバントがその実一番半端なサーバントだったなんて悪い冗談じゃない。
そうだな。セイバーはサーバントになんてならなければよかったんだ。
I nod.
意外ね。シロとアッチャもしかしたら気があったのかもしれないな。あいつもね、シロと同じこと言ってたから。
アーチャーってあいつが？
そう、アーチャーも言ってたわ。自分は後悔してるからセイバーにはそうなってほしくないって。
なんであいつがセイバーの心配をするんだよ。あいつセイバーを嫌ってたじゃないか。
The hell would make you think he hated her?
そうなんだけどね。やっぱりさ、あいつってセイバーにゆかりの騎士だったんじゃないかな。初めてセイバーと戦った時、あいつ明らかに手を抜いてたでしょ。
そうなのか。けどセイバーはアーチャーに見覚えはないようだったぞ。
そうなの？けどセイバーは王様だったんでしょ。なら国民を全て把握していたわけでもないし、忘れてることだってあるんじゃない？
あのな、そういうこと言い出したらそれこそキリがない。顔を見て思い出せないようなやつならそれは知らないってことだと思うけど。
そうでもないわよ。伝説だとさ、アーサー王の進化には運が悪くてキャメロットを追われた騎士も多いでしょ。あいつその一人だったのかもしれないわ。あいつが正体を隠していたのは私にじゃなくてセイバーに対してだったって言うんなら割と納得がいくんだけど。
Tosaka is actively talking to me. She's trying to care for me? I don't think it's having much effect, but she's a nice girl. She's usually merciless, but she tries to help people when they're weakened. And so, we drink tea together for a while. She must have run out of patience as she looks at me seriously.
で、あなたはどうしたいの、シロ。
とりあえず明日はデートする。
I can't think of anything else. I already decided so on my way home. And then, where did that solemn atmosphere go after making a really rude face to Saka? Burst in laughter.
ちょっと待って。心の準備が。すごいってば。すっごいわがままぶりよ、シロ。
Damn, now that I think about it calmly, I should have known this is what was going to happen. I'm such an idiot.
うるさい。わがままで悪いか。そんな場合じゃないって分かってるけど、絶対に邪魔はさせないからな。
違う。シロがおかしくて。
Chisaka hits my back, holding her stomach. Could this be the worst treatment I've taken so far?
心底笑ったわ。
She tries to catch her breath.
そりゃよかったな。こっちは全然笑えなかったけど。
I complain. Then,
デート頑張んなさい。
Chisaka says so, her attitude completely changed.
おう、頑張る。
I managed to reply. That was a real surprise attack. She does that kind of thing? What kind of an expression? All I can do is nod.
Well, you heard it here first. After reveal, after reveal, after reveal, after reveal, somehow next week is the date episode. My plans are dead, they are no more. They died a little each day. Like a thief, an episode a week stole it away. The plot plays twists, now I'm confused. The story I thought is long gone. Dead and cold, story untold. It was one I trusted, it was one I loved, but now I must move on.